This video contains spoilers for the first Dune novel, as well as the movies Dune Parts 1 and 2. In Dune Part 1, we're introduced to the sisterhood of the Bene Gesserit, a group of women who condition their minds and bodies to have superhuman capabilities. The Bene Gesserit operate behind the scenes of the three major factions in the Dune universe. On the surface, the Bene Gesserit exist to serve the Empire, like becoming truthsayers to help important people know when they're being lied to. But their true goals are hidden in the shadows. For 90 generations, thousands of years, the Bene Gesserit have secretly been manipulating the bloodlines of the great houses. They marry Bene Gesserit women to powerful males of the Imperium, and when they come across an offspring who possesses key genes, they are then bred together. Eventually, over the course of millennia, this breeding pattern would produce the Kwisatz Haderach. This is a messianic hero who the Bene Gesserit believe is the only way to save humanity. According to the Sisterhood, humanity's doom is that they become stagnant. They stop growing, stop innovating, and let themselves waste away. Humanity is on a safe course that leads ever down into stagnation. The Bene Gesserit believe that there will come a time when an emperor must exist who is strong enough to carry out the Golden Path. That emperor must also be a male Bene Gesserit, the Kwisatz Haderach, who is completely controlled by the Sisterhood. Essentially, the Bene Gesserit goal is absolute power, ruling through an emperor of their own creation. The Kwisatz Haderach will have a wisdom that spans time and space. He will seem capable of living forever, and will lead humankind to an eternal future. What is the golden path that the Kwisatz Haderach must be strong enough to complete? It's the Bene Gesserit plan for long-term human survival, a path that cures humanity from its stagnation, and keeps humans prepared to face future crises. It's all a bit vague. Paul Atreides is meant to be this Kwisatz Haderach. The Fremen believe in him because he fits all the prophecies the Bene Gesserit planted on Arrakis. The Sisterhood have a program called the Missionaria Protectiva, whereby they visit planets and spread religious messages and superstitions to prepare the people for the coming of a Messiah. Essentially, the Bene Gesserit exploit native people in order to control them and make them believe in their own myths. So in Dune, Paul is accepted by the Fremen. He knows their ways as though born to them. But was he meant to be the Kwisatz Haderach? Paul's mother Jessica is a Bene Gesserit. Jessica was told to only bear daughters to Duke Leto. Bene Gesserit have the power to control the sex of their child, and Jessica chose to have a boy because she loved Duke Leto, and Leto always wanted a son. The Bene Gesserit plan was much more sinister. They knew that House Atreides and House Harkonnen had been enemies for millennia. Their solution was to fuse their bloodlines and unite them by creating the Kwisatz Haderach. Paul was supposed to be a girl, and this Atreides' daughter would have married the Harkonnen heir, Feyd-Rautha, and their son would be the Kwisatz Haderach, the male Bene Gesserit who would assume the imperial throne under the name Harkonnen, and he would be controlled by the Bene Gesserit. Although Jessica comes to the realization that her daughter with Duke Leto wasn't actually meant to end the feud between the two houses. Instead, it was about fixing some genetic factor in the Atreides Harkonnen lines. That daughter would possess the correct genes to mate with Feyd-Rautha and produce the Kwisatz Haderach. But Jessica had a son, and she began training Paul in the ways of the Sisterhood. She produced a male Bene Gesserit a generation too soon, and threw a wrench into the Sisterhood's plans. Paul does have Harkonnen blood, but not the correct combination of genes the Bene Gesserit were expecting. So after Dune Part 2, Paul marries Princess Irulan and takes the throne. He sees a holy war in his name, a violent crusade that forces Fremen religion on the rest of the galaxy. Billions of people would die, their religions being destroyed by the Fremen. Is this part of the Golden Path? Is the Kwisatz Haderach supposed to be brutal enough to allow this crusade to happen and avoid the stagnation of humanity? Is Paul strong enough to do it? Those are the questions that Dune Messiah will answer. Denis Villeneuve said that he's working on the script and doesn't want to rush it, so I guess we'll find out in a few years. Or you can just read the book. It's pretty good. Thanks for watching, and please like the video and subscribe if you haven't already.